All right. So today we are covering the thrilling topic of topic sentences. So hello everyone. For anyone who forgot, because we still haven't seen each other in such a long time, my name is José Miranda Campbell. My pronouns are he, his, and him, and I'm a writing tutor at the Peer Academic Resource Center. Uh, Today's topic is about sentences and playing with a new laptop today. So, well, not new to me, laptop. So forgive any kind of weird button presses. All right, so yeah, today we're going to be talking about topic sentences, and as always, we got to start with the basics. So, what is a topic sentence? A topic sentence, is simply stated, is the main idea of the paragraph in which it occurs. Each paragraph, and we're going to call back a little bit to our last workshop, the thesis statement workshop. Each paragraph should be in some way reinforcing your thesis statement. And in a similar fashion, your topic sentence functions almost as a mini thesis statement for your paragraph itself. So when you're writing your paragraph, everything that should be in there should call back to the topic sentence. And the topic sentence is usually the first sentence, although not always. Um, it is what I like to call it. It's working the hardest um, in your paragraph. That first sentence should be just enough detail that it's telling the reader precisely what's going to be happening in that paragraph, so that they have an idea of what's going on. When a paragraph contains a clear topic sentence, the reader will know exactly what to expect and therefore will understand your ideas better. On the other side of things, you're making the sentence work hard for you even before anybody reads it. Because when you come up with a good topic sentence, you come up with a outline for yourself to follow in your sentence, in your paragraph. So as you're writing that paragraph, you look at, well, does this sentence really support my topic sentence? And sometimes I can help you determine whether this detail should be in this paragraph or maybe another. Um, I have my notes on a phone, so if it looks like I'm keep looking away, it's because I have my notes down here. Uh, your topic sentence should entice the reader to keep on reading. It's the main idea of your paragraph. And much like your thesis statement, your topic sentence should be able to grab that attention of the reader. Uh, Going on. So what makes a good topic sentence? And this is kind of tough, right? Because often as we're writing, we just kind of go sentence to sentence without really thinking about dividing it up. Depending on the type of writer you are, you could write, 5 or 6 pages and then edit it back down to 3. It really depends on your style. I myself do like to do the outline method where I come up with what I'm going to write, come up with some sort of scaffolding for it, and then follow it from there. Even if it doesn't always turn out the exact same way as your outline, it's still a good idea to create this roadmap for yourself to follow as you go through. So let's talk about the anatomy of a topic sentence. As a general rule, a topic sentence is composed of 2 parts, a topic and a controlling idea. Um, would anyone like to take a guess, either in the chat or through voice, at what the difference between a topic and a controlling idea would be? No worries. A topic is going to be the general subject you're going to be discussing. And that sounds so simple, but really thinking about your sentence in this kind of more anatomical way can really help you stay focused as you're writing that sentence. So think of the topic, like I said, the general subject, and then the controlling idea is what you want to say about that topic, um, and more specifically, what makes that topic more specific. We're going to go over this. I know this is a little broad, and I've got some examples coming up here. Um, oops, come on. So a basic example to just kind of really break it down. American history was my favorite class in high school for 3 reasons. Would anybody like to take a stab at identifying the topic versus um, the idea in the sentence?
Is the topic American history?
Absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah, so that's the topic of the sentence, right? That's what we're talking about is American history. And so as Keely correctly identified, American history / my favorite class, because in this case, they're one and the same. So that's the topic. The controlling idea, 3 reasons why. You're going to tell, so the reader, anyone reading this sentence knows that the topic you're talking about is American history and or your favorite class, and that you have 3 reasons as to why it's your favorite class. So now that we have a basic sample set up, let's talk about what a topic sentence is not. A topic sentence is not a simple fact. Things like Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Well, that's a statement of fact, even though there's some room where I could argue semantics on Thomas Edison because he didn't invent the light bulb per se. He invented the version of the light bulb we use. So it's kind of splitting hairs, but Thomas Edison gets too much credit more than he deserves, but that's a whole different thing that I can go off of. A topic sentence is also not a question. And actually, let me back up. It's not a simple fact, right? So what I mean by that is just about everybody you come across would know Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, despite how much I might disagree with that statement. It's a simple statement that most people could agree to. But there's nothing intriguing about that. You're not telling me anything new. You're not building on anything. And if you hear random monster sounds, it's because my dog is next to me making all sorts of crazy sounds. So he's doing potato things. A topic sentence is also not a question. Who invented the light bulb we use today? That's not a good topic sentence. Growl. Yeah, exactly. He's a funny guy. I wanted actually, because I was trying to mess with the virtual background on Zoom, and I usually like to put a picture of him in the background, but I don't have any pictures of him loaded on this. Well, because I created a new user on my wife's laptop, so it's anyway, I couldn't do quite what I wanted, but that's okay. So a topic sentence is not a question, and the reason for it is that now you can start this paragraph with a question that's valid, but understand that it's not your topic sentence. And how I mentioned earlier, topic sentences aren't always your opening sentence. Sometimes it could be that second sentence. And that's those kind of questions or paragraphs that you begin with, kind of like a rhetorical question. Now, my problem with that, and the reason I would advise against it, and for our purposes in this class, is we need to stay between the 750 to 1,000 words. So we don't have a lot of words to waste on rhetorical questions. For a longer paper, absolutely, there's lots of room for that. But for this, you need to keep it compact. So who invented the light bulb would not qualify as a topic sentence. Now, let's talk about the scope of a topic sentence. And I lost my place in my notes. There we go. Because I went off script because of my dog. That's okay. Oops. Okay. The scope of a topic sentence. What should be covered in your topic sentence? Well, this is where we kind of get to have a little fun, and I'll reference folktale of the Goldilocks. You don't want it to be too general, too specific. You need one that needs to be just right. In this case, right? So most people are familiar with the story of Goldilocks. She goes to eats the 3 things of porridge. Which, who's ever had porridge? I don't even know what that is. But anyway,
Oatmeal.
Is it just oatmeal? Why don't you just call it
Yes.
oatmeal? Man,
I don't know.
porridge. Porridge is nasty, says Matthew. Yeah, I don't know. But okay, so like with Goldilocks, you don't want your topic sentence to be too general. My high school history class was great. Well, that's cool. That tells me absolutely nothing. That is not descriptive enough. It's not, provides no depth. Doesn't challenge anything. It tells me you like that class, or maybe you got an easy A. Too specific. I was very successful in my American history class because I could easily memorize the information. I did all my homework and got all A's on my tests. That's very detailed, but then that's not a topic sentence. You just told me everything that you would have covered in the paragraph. There's no teasing. There's no lead in. I don't have to read the rest of the paragraph because you're just going to repeat yourself at least 3 times. So that's where we have that balance that we have to strike as a writer for our readers to become interested enough to keep reading and make it interesting. And so in this example, something that can be a little bit more just right is American history was my favorite class in high school for 3 reasons. Well, if I'm interested as to why American history was your favorite class in high school, there's 3 reasons, and I may or may not continue reading. So I know these are very, very basic examples, but I think it helps to look at the most basic versions so that when we see more complex sentences, we can build off of it as we move forward. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay. So, hold my water, Gambit. Gambit is my dog's name, and he's now holding my water. All right, let me see if I make sure I've got everything covered for this slide. Yeah, it looks like it. All right. So now a little bit more into the function of a topic sentence. I think this is also pretty straightforward, but it's important to cover in these kinds of things. A clearly stated topic sentence will serve two important functions. It's going to help you, the writer, stay focused on your topic, and it's going to provide the readers with the tools they need to clearly understand what you have to say. It's a lot easier to write if you already know relatively specifically, if not outright specifically, what you're going to write about, because it's just more time efficient. You save time, right? Writing sometimes can be so time consuming. I spent hours and hours sometimes writing these papers that turn out to only be 1,000 words or 4 or 5 pages. And often it's because when that happens, I didn't take enough time to organize myself ahead of time. I find myself having to edit or re-edit or move a paragraph. And if you take the time to beforehand create an outline in which you plan out what each paragraph is going to look like, generally speaking, you can have a much easier time when you're writing. So this is where some of the pre-writing exercise come into play, like an outline. A lot of people use different methods. There's if you're doing a comparative essay, you could do a big old Venn diagram of compare or contrast. But with the essay that we have coming up, an outline is going to be the best. And I know I have mentioned it almost every time you've probably ever talked to me about writing, and I'll probably mention it every time until the day I die, because they are so fundamental. Yeah. So examples of a subject within the thing, and I have a little bit of elaboration that I want to go on. So subjects can be just about anything. The controlling idea is then what limits that focus on your writing. So examples: roses, yellow sedans, World War II, video games. It can be anything. Anything can be a subject if you have enough to write about. Now, more about subjects. This is where I want to expand a little bit on when we're choosing our topic sentences, on how we can upgrade it from a good idea that can be a little basic and upgrade it to something a little bit more sophisticated. So, for example, wealth, war, and technology. Can anybody think about how we could upgrade these? Because all three of these words, right, can cover vast concepts. Would anyone like to take a stab, either through chat or through voice, at how we could upgrade these over if you were writing something related to this?
How wealth affects people, and how it can change them, maybe
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's great. Absolutely. That's very close to one of the things that I came up with. Let's see. Quest for gold is what I came up with.
Okay.
Right. And there's no wrong answer in this. It's just expanding it out, right? Wealth, and where you came really close on something I was already thinking: war, the effect of war on the working class.
Right.
If you have a topic sentence that one of them goes, war was very prevalent during the 1940s. Well, of course. But if your paragraph is something instead, or that opening sentence is something instead, like the effect of war on the working class during the 1940s can be viewed by blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
You can really take something that's not a bad idea or wrong by any ways, but upgrade it up to that level that really lets the reader know that you know what we're talking about. Technology as a child rearing strategy, right? A lot of my earlier college stuff was in psychology, and a good amount of it was in child psychology. And so I look at a lot at how people raise their kids, what it comes down to. It's a terrible thing, because no one ever wants to hear about how they're raising their kids. But I would be willing to bet that just about all of us know somebody who has a kid that is babysat by an iPad or some screen in general, right? I grew up as somewhat of a latchkey kid, and I feel like I have a little bit of a bitter spot with that sometimes. Yeah, ugh. I'll second that ugh. What do I do? Okay, yeah. So that was it on that. My whole point with this slide is just like I said is um, we talked about in thesis statements on that right balance between a complex idea and an overly complicated idea, and it's the same kind of principle with this. We want to be able to take that subject of our topic sentence and put it at a level that lets the reader know that we done more than just copy paste some quotes to try to back up our thesis statement. So examples of controlling idea. Now, like we said, this is what really helps narrow and focus in the subject of your topic sentence. And it helps limit the scope of your topic. So examples of controlling ideas. This is going to go back to that first slide that I had with the subject samples. Roses can be grown easily by following these steps. So that's now this paragraph on roses could instead of just flowers, become about how to grow them. Do you want attention? He just wants attention.
He's gorgeous.
Oh, it's a good boy. All right, he's got his screen time. He throws himself back when he wants scratches. Or scritches, I should say. Okay. Okay, examples. Yes, the roses. Yellow sedans. I hate yellow sedans. If you have a yellow sedan, I'm sorry. I don't hate you. I just hate your car. But they're the worst color for family cars because I just put that one in for fun. I used to sell vehicles, and there was a certain one that came in this bright canary yellow. Except for Corvettes. Corvettes look good in yellow.
Is it cheaper when they're yellow usually? Like
No.
that bright?
No, the color does not affect price.
Ooh. Okay.
Looking at World War II, right? And this kind of harkens over to what we're going to start thinking about if you haven't already. World War II is complicated by the ideas of Eugene Sledge because he argues blah blah. This is where in a paper like the one we're working on for the 17th, name dropping the author a couple times is always a great idea to remind the reader where you're getting these ideas from. Even if in our case, our professor already knows where these ideas are coming from, you want to pretend that the professor doesn't explicitly know. And then video games are a good way to take a break from work because if there's anything good to be said about this, pandemic is that some of us have had some time to do some of the things we've been putting off for a while. I'm a big video game player. There's been a couple of games that I've been able to catch up on that I've been putting off for a while. All right, so some more examples of controlling ideas. Now, this is perfect actually because the dog was just in the video. He's an American bully. So American bullies are different from other pit bull-like dogs for several reasons. And here I've bolded them for us. Who would like to say which one is which? Which one's a controlling idea versus which one is the subject?
The subject is the American bullies.
Yes. And the controlling ideas are the reasons, or is the reasons. As a topic, American bullies, the control idea is the reasons. We have what else in chat? Yes, perfect. Oh my God. All right. I might prefer being on my computer because on my main computer, I have two screens. And it's, oh my God. All right. And it's easier to not do what I keep doing here. So I apologize for the back and forth on these things. Okay. So if you read that as a topic sentence, not a great topic sentence, but it's direct. The paragraph will talk about American bullies, how they're different from other pit bull-like dogs, and we'll discuss several reasons as to how or why. I have to have this conversation relatively often with people because he is an American bully. Like, oh, is that a pit bull? No. I mean, yes, but no. And it's just a whole thing. Because I had a hard time finding a place to live at because of breed restrictions, which is another topic. So today, yellow sedans, Thomas Edison, and breed restrictions are what I'm bitter about. So yes.
German Shepherds are better.
I don't know. We have a neighbor German Shepherd, and he got turned into a monster by his owners.
Well, that's the owners.
I know, and that's why there's no such thing as a bad dog. There's just bad owners.
Exactly. My baby's perfect, like yours.
So let's practice. And we've been doing it a little bit as we go along, but in this following sentence, in the chat, that way we have give everyone a chance to do it on their own. Let's identify the topic and controlling idea of each of the following topic sentences. So Turkish coffee is easy to make if you follow these 3 steps. Of course, I'm going to mess it up with this. Watch. Would anyone like to attempt it in the chat, identifying within this sentence the topic and then the controlling idea?
Would the topic be coffee or Turkish coffee? Because we want to be concise.
Perfect. Yes, you're correct. And then the controlling idea then being topic, Turkish coffee is easy to make, more specifically just Turkish coffee, and controlling idea, these 3 steps.
Gotcha.
Just going to keep that up. Yes, I do. And we'll be coming to some of those in just a minute here. Thank you for asking. Sorry, the question, I don't know if everyone can see that. I guess you probably can because of this. I was asked, do we have any examples of controlling ideas that are not just numerical / lists? Yes, we do. So more practice here on this one. Actually, and here's an example of it. So although the chemical compound DDT was effective as an insecticide, we are now discovering the continued effects of our environment as a result of its overusage. So if anyone would like to take there's no good place to put this chat. Yeah, take a stab at identifying the topic and the controlling item. Move it there. Yeah.
Would the topic be that the chemical compound is effective as an insecticide?
Yes, more specifically, just the compound itself, just DDT.
Okay.
And I did not want to write out DDT because it's like a 3 billion letter word for whatever reason.
Okay.
And controlling idea. Perfect, Matthew. Thank you. Yeah, control idea, effects on the environment. And of course, you're not going to work right. Topic DDT, controlling idea, effects on our environment. I know all my other examples were lists / numericals because that's often how it goes. But that's, yeah, those are the ones that are weaker versions. This is a little bit more sophisticated example.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's your question?
Does Dr. Collins prefer the numerical type list you were doing? There are 3 examples?
Okay. No, I was just sticking to those because they're the most simple version, the easiest one to identify, and then slowly upgrading us. He definitely prefers that topic sentence to be more, what's the word I want? More, because it's kind of more thematic, more, there should be not necessarily. So sometimes it might be a list, but in the things that you're talking about in this essay, there's not going to be room for like lists, like it's not just reasons, because that is such a nice prompt that really makes you critically think. There's not a lot of room for lists. You're not going to be listing things out. So same instruction. Now for this one more thing to identify the topic sentence. So this is a small paragraph. So let's try to identify the topic sentence and the controlling idea. And I'll read it out loud. From the beginning of the abolitionist movement, women played a key role. They circulated petitions requesting that slavery be abolished. They also organized social gatherings to spread the abolitionist word and to raise money for the movement. Some female abolitionists, at great risk to themselves, even hid runaway enslaved people in their homes. That's how determined they were to bring an end to the institution of slavery. So let's take a couple minutes here to identify the topic, the controlling idea, and then a new part, the topic sentence itself, since it's a multi-sentence kind of beginning of a paragraph. I need to remember that I want to get that Jeopardy music in the background here too, but then YouTube would probably shut it down.
Would the topic be the abolishment of slavery, especially for women? Or no? Am I way off there?
No, you're not way off, but you're not spot on.
Okay.
Give it just another second here, see if anyone else wants to hop in. If not, we will cover it here.
Was that the controlling idea? Huh.
Stop it. Okay. So topic is the women in the abolitionist movement. So you're right. It was a women abolitionist movement. The topic sentence is, in this case, right at the beginning. From the beginning of the abolitionist movement, women played a key role. And what's the controlling idea in the overall beginning of this paragraph, because I wouldn't call this a whole paragraph, is the role that women played in the abolitionist movement. And so the reason I brought this example forth is because the controlling idea isn't stated in this exact sequence of words in the paragraph. So it lets you know that just because, in this case, the role of women in the abolitionist movement, it's not spelled out in that exact order anywhere, it doesn't mean that that's not still the controlling idea. So it
Can
can
you
be a
say
little
that
bit
one?
more. Yeah, of course. So the reason I chose this paragraph was because it's a little bit more complex, a little bit more sophisticated, and the controlling idea, the way I wrote it, identified as the role of women in the abolitionist movement. That sequence of words, like in that exact way, that's not anywhere in this paragraph. It's said in different parts here and there, but someone reading this they'll come away with the idea of this, this part of the paragraph was about the role of women in the abolitionist movement, even if it wasn't like straight up spelled out for them. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yes.
So there's a way to play with it to make the words work a little harder for you, to make them kind of earn their keep a little bit. So I do touch a little bit on focus of paragraph, just to kind of, because there's no way to really talk about topic sentences without talking about paragraph structure. Let me shut this down here again. All right, so the topic sentence will tell the topic, that's a terrible sentence, will tell the topic of the paragraph and may answer one of these questions. So while I said earlier that a topic sentence is not itself a question, there's no reason that can't be part of the answer to a question. So there we go. So it could address why. It could address the why of the thing you're talking about in this part of it. Depending on what your thesis statement is, each paragraph might be addressing a different part of that question. And so a topic sentence could be part of that answering or the addressing of the reasoning for the subject's occurrence. So whatever topic you're talking about, a topic sentence could lead in as to, this is the answer, and then in the paragraph you explain why the answer to that thesis statement is in that topic sentence. It can answer which, who, or what was involved, what exactly we're talking about. If you're talking about a topic sentence that needs to help address specific factors or events or people within an event, the topic sentence could do that as well. It could identify where whatever event happened. It could identify a description of the topic. So this here, and it could address how, directions, recipe. This is where you really get a lot of those numerical things, where you go, this is how things happened, ABC, or this is how you do something, ABC. This is very general, and no single topic sentence is going to touch more than one of these, maybe two sometimes if you have a really but then the topic sentence would be doing too much. If your topic sentence talks about two things, it should be split up into probably two different sentences for two different paragraphs. So any questions before we summarize and wrap up for this? I guess it's evening 5. I never know when it's evening, day, or
Yeah,
afternoon to evening. I don't know. A topic sentence of a paragraph includes a topic of the paragraph and limits what the author will discuss about the topic by adding a controlling idea. The controlling idea may answer a question, suggest a list, or express an opinion based in fact. And then, like before, I try to put things in more of a formulaic thing for anybody out there who's more mathematically inclined than I am, a formula style of looking at it. Your subject plus your controlling idea is your topic sentence. Just a neat final way of addressing the topic. Does anybody have any questions? And I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.